Welcome to the GPLama YouTube channel, where it's been a minute between Zwift update videos, and within that minute Zwift have been very busy. So coming up in today's video, we'll have a look at the highlights from Game Client version 1.63. We'll look at what's new in Game Client version 1.64. We'll have a glimpse into the future with Zwift's This Season on Zwift, where they show us a few things on the near horizon, some significant updates coming along that I think everyone will like, including a feature that has landed today called My List, allowing you to schedule your next ride or workout in the companion app from anywhere, and next time you log into Zwift, it's right there on the home screen to click and get riding right away. All right, lots to cover, let's get to it.
Okay, jumping over to the Zwift forums and the official post here for Game Update 1.63 and everything that's changed. The highlights for me, starting off with the 8 new routes that have been added, and that means 8 new route badges to achieve. Over at our friend Zwift Insider, Eric has highlighted these routes here. So Big Flat 8, Castle Crit Run, Jurassic Coast, Loop to Loop, Mountain Mash, Spiral into the Volcano, and Zwift Games 2024 Epic. Now that's the only route of all these I'll look at because it is the longest, and there's quite a bit of riding to do there, taking in Titans Grove, New Coastal Road, Jungle, and a few other things. Scrolling down to the route description, you can see that's quite a lumpy course, with not a lot of high mountains, just a lot of little bumps that do add up over that 80 kilometers.
Okay, a few hours of riding there for us to tick off those new route badges. Next up in the significant changes for 1.63 is for those of us with the Zwift Play controllers. Now with the Play controllers, steering with this little paddle here goes outwards and braking goes inwards. And if you have a set of these, no doubt you've hit the brakes accidentally. So within the menus now, you can select braking sensitivity, or if you slide it all the way over to the left, you can turn braking off. A very welcome addition to those of us who fumbled their fingers with these new controllers. And lastly, with 1.63, they fixed a bug with virtual shifting, where going from erg mode to sim mode too quickly and dumping through a lot of gears would result in it jumping back to gear 12. It was catching me out in the Llama lab test with my maximal sprints. I'm really happy to see that one fixed. Okay, so that's 1.63 covered off. Let's look at 1.64, which landed this week.
Okay, pulling up the Zwift forums again with Game Update version 1.64 this time, and all that it contains with a changelog. Not a lot in 1.64, although there are a few things to pick out here, including 4 event-only routes, which are now getting route badges. Those being Queen's Highway After Party, Hilly Route Reverse, London Classique Reverse, and Park Perimeter Reverse. As always, for more details on those, Zwift Insider has us covered, with some details on here when I scroll down, and some links there to each of those routes. Now, they are event only at this point in time, so you will need to find an event to complete. Now, I do say complete because you don't really need to race these. You can enter any of these events and ride them as fast or as slow as you want. As long as you complete the course, you will get that route badge. Those of us who use meetups will be happy to see this fix in game now, where the rubber banding speeds of meetups have been tweaked to be a little more realistic, I guess you'd call it. Now, a small change not listed in the release notes, but pointed out here by Eric at Zwift Insider and seen by those of us who have already updated, is they've made some tweaks to the home screens, with text navigation along the top, not icons. The UI scaling has been removed. They've now switched to what they are considering an all-screen standard scale setting, which I'm not quite a fan of just yet. And they've added a fading effect to the cards on the home screen, giving an indication that you can scroll sideways for those tiles or cards. And the last thing I'll point out with 1.64 is right down the bottom there is a new Zwift launcher, which has been bundled with this update. So when installing 1.64 on your Mac or Windows machine, you may have been prompted with another little dialog box to update the launcher as well. What's new in the launcher? Well, not too much. They list here under the hood improvements to the launcher's role in installing game updates. Okay, with the updates out of the way, it's on to This Season on Zwift, Zwift's regular update on what's coming up in the near future, and we'll cover off something that has landed today from this as well. But first up, the grade. Rolling out to Zwifters in June, they state the grade is designed to be a testing climate for Zwifters. The keyword there being testing, and you'll get a little bit more insight into that when the climb is released. It starts off at the west side of Zwift's most common recent expansion, the southern coast, and heads, well, obviously upwards. So keen to see the grade and what loops they'll include with that, along with a few more route badges too. Next up, something people have been wanting for a very, very long time, and it's soon to be here, a HUD refresh. Zwift state that the in-game HUD is about to get a fresh new look and provide you with more information right where you need it. One of the standout features of the updated HUD is the new Climb Mode Dynamic Elevation Profile display. this looks very much like Climb Pro functionality that we know from Garmin head units or similar on the Wahoo Element and Hammerhead Karoos. Now, there is a lot going on the screen here, which I won't break down fully here. We'll wait for the full release to come out in its final form, but this is looking really, really good. They also state here the HUD update will also allow Zwifters to customize the data fields shown in the power tile of the HUD via the in-game settings menu. I'm very keen to see what those drop-down options will be when this is released. Oh, and if you haven't noticed, the mini-map and elevation profile have been updated, something everyone has been asking for a very, very long time now. On to Training Connections, launching early summer 2024. Northern Hemisphere summer that will be, so winter down here. Now, this is a new API connection that Zwift state will give Zwifters greater flexibility with how they want to train on the platform by providing better integration with other platforms and coaching services. For example, if you're familiar with Training Peaks, Zwift for a very long time now has been able to sync workouts from Training Peaks into Zwift. This update builds on that, allowing a lot of other partners to take advantage of building their own training platforms and training plans and schedules and things like that, and then piping them straight into Zwift as the cycling platform. So not too dissimilar to how coaches work in the real world. They'll give you a workout to do, you go outside and ride. Zwift are providing that ride experience with all the smarts and coaching and things coming from a third party. A very, very welcome addition for a lot of Zwifters who are using other services for their coaching guidance as it is. The wording in the press release about who the launch partners for this will be is very vague. Zwift have just stated here that a few launch partners will be involved. There is a lot of speculation online already who that may be. Let's wait to see this feature land and see who comes on board. On to the final item from this season on Zwift, which has landed today, and this is called My List. Now with this, there's a new option on the tray down the bottom of the app there called My List, which we'll click on, and here we go. So plan your next ride, use My List to plan your next set of rides, find your planned rides, etc. So we can add workouts or add routes or routes. Let's go add route and search through. Well, we can put a filter on here of route badges I haven't done. So let's go show uncompleted routes, all routes done. Alrighty, I've got a few to tick off here, including London PRL full, which I believe most of us probably have yet to tick off. Let's look at Zwift Games 2024 Epic. Let's add that to my list of things I have to do. Loop to Loop looks pretty good as well. Let's add that. And Island Outskirts. Okay, all done. Now, once they've been added to my list, we can go back and manage that list. So Zwift Games Epic 2024, Loop to Loop, Island Outskirts are there. And grabbing those, we can change those around if we want to prioritize those. Let's put the hardest one last, of course, easiest one first, and I'm happy with that. Onto the workout side of things, we can click on Add Workout, and any of the predefined workouts within Zwift are there. I don't believe custom workouts or third-party synced workouts are in this just yet. Let's steer clear of the VO2 and the FTP stuff and the sprinting. God, they all look pretty hard. Let's go Baby on Board. Why not? And we'll go Tantrum. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Back to my list, and Tantrum is there as a workout. Let's put that before we do the Zwift Games Epic. It's as simple as that on the companion app. And there's no need to cover how that's going to look next time I log into Zwift because they've been on the screen here all along. And they update in almost real time. Let's get Tantrum up there in number 1, and there we go. Now, I do like what I'm seeing here with version 1 of My List. It's very simple. It works seamlessly, as you've seen here on screen. And I really can't wait to see what they're going to do with this for version 2 and version 3 of My List. Now, as a Zwift tip, if you're not seeing the My List option on your mobile device, make sure you have the latest app installed. If it's still not working, do a force close and reopen and see if it arrives.
Alrighty, there we are. A quick look at the highlights from Game Client version 1.63, what's new in 1.64, what's coming up very soon on Zwift. That new climb looks pretty cool, and that HUD refresh. It's been a long time coming. I can't wait to see that in-game. And also My List, which has landed today. I think it's going to be very popular on the toilet for some reason. Lots of good planning is always done on the toilet. Anyhow, I think Zwift are in a really good place at the moment with regular updates with a pretty high cadence and releasing features that we've been asking for quite some time. Now, having said that, I really hope I haven't just put a curse on them. So don't hold me accountable if everything goes south sometime in the near future. All right, and with that, as always, if you've enjoyed this content, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. If you already are a subscriber, I really appreciate your support, and we'll see you soon.